So I was in my home office yesterday when somebody texted me a Twitter link to a post that had the video of Charlie Kirk's death on it. And I was not ready to see that right before the first session that I would be doing for the day as a therapist. But it did prepare me for other people bringing it up throughout the day, how disturbing that image was. And I saw a lot of takes on Charlie Kirk's death throughout the day, and I decided to give it a day before I would comment on it. Because, there's this predictable flow as to how people mourn and grieve. And part of that predictable flow, because we're talking about gun violence, is, some people wanting to talk about gun control measures and some people wanting to say, oh, it's too soon. Even though, at this point, anytime you want to talk about these things, it's too soon after some event that has just recently happened, because they happen all the time now, right? It's America. So, one thing that I noticed was the term thoughts and prayers had come up again. And I was actually okay with it, because it's mostly people on the right saying it. And, they're doing it for their own, and it lands well, I guess, with the Charlie Kirk crowd. And, that's how they communicate that they care about what happened. And then I kept seeing mention of him being a husband and a father, and pictures of him with his 2 kids and wife, which I had never seen before, because I'm not a big fan of Charlie Kirk, because I come from a very leftist viewpoint where he just doesn't appear on my screen a lot unless he makes a lot of news for something that he says, which has happened a few times. But I kept on seeing, the president made a message about his wife Erica and 2 kids, and that Melania and him were praying for the wife and 2 kids, and other people on social media saying, prayers go out to his wife and 2 kids, and he was a family man, and we should remember him for that. Let me tell you how I think about that particular thing as someone on the far left. Having never seen pictures of him with his family before, I actually did not feel any more sympathy for him than when I just saw him get shot and felt bad for him in that moment. But, showing me the pictures of someone's family that they have, that they're leaving behind, and expecting me to feel sympathy for them, when I know that the person that died would feel disgust if they saw a picture of my family, and they actively attack other people's families in marginalized groups. It's hard for me to go there. It's hard. It's my give a damn's busted at that point. Don't show me pictures of this guy's family as if to say, this person was not who he was in life, right? And I feel like a reason that I am so burnt out on being called back to civility is because not because of Charlie Kirk in particular, but the entire movement that he's a part of. He's ridden Trump's coattails for the last decade, as far as both of them achieving success at the same time for the same political movement. And it's like, these are the fuck your feelings people. These are the facts don't care about your feelings people. These are the people who, with the emotions of the left, are like bulls in a china shop, right? And then after they're done, something happens to them, and they're like, "Oh, it's time for civility now. It's time for you to do the right thing and not, let's say, grasp at the low-hanging fruit of this situation and say, isn't that the guy who said gun deaths are an unfortunate but acceptable cost of preserving Second Amendment rights? Isn't that the same guy who said that, who that just happened to? You know, the irony part here of that is not the low-hanging fruit that I want to go after in me remembering who Charlie Kirk was for posterity and making this video for people 100 years from now wanting to know, what did people on the left think? That is the out there for sure. He also there has a viral video clip going around right now where he said that children should be able to see public executions and they should be quick. And, you know, that's kind of salient at this point right now. But when he did say that gun deaths were an unfortunate but acceptable cost of preserving the Second Amendment, he said it right after a school shooting in Nashville. So there was context to that. He wasn't talking about his own death, you know. He was talking about school shooting deaths, and a lot of people at the time called that stance kind of callous and dismissive of the victims. And right now, people would call upon the left to not be as callous as he was in remembering him. We think about, you know, this guy has a wife and kids that he's leaving behind. You know, like, put that in your mind. Don't think about all the bad things that he said in his short political career of a decade. But yeah, I am not going to remember Charlie Kirk the way that a lot of people on the right do, as somebody who deserved having the flag at half-mast until Sunday, like the president has commanded. And I don't think of him as a particularly likable person. I don't want to delve into the realms of negativity with it, because, you know, I know as a therapist it's not good for my own mental health, but I can regard this person as a very fierce opponent on the other side, who said a lot of things that were memorable and explosive enough to get through what I actually like to put my attention onto, and then, like, you know, get into my realm because somebody on my side of things was hurt by it, right? And I have to hear about it in therapy sessions with people when they say, "Oh, you know, my son's been watching that Charlie Kirk person." Yeah, and I am a fan of South Park, and he did just in this past month be he was parodied on South Park by the Cartman character. It was the episode right after the episode where Trump's tiny weenus was displayed. Yeah. It was the second episode, I think, of the season. There haven't been that many episodes this season yet. And I wonder what they're going to do with the character that Cartman was playing. Are they going to revisit that? Anyways, I also remember that the person that Gavin Newsom went on a podcast with and was had a lot of people on the left screaming at him, why would you platform that person? Because he was reaching across the aisle to talk to somebody. That was actually Charlie Kirk, the same dude. So he was big enough for platform-wise for a governor or senator to talk to him. So yeah, and he was a very good friend of President Trump. So he was kind of a big deal, and I'm remembering him for being a big deal on the MAGA right. I remember him for being a big voice on that side. I remember him saying we must ban trans-affirming care the entire country. He said that last year. He called on a ban on gender-affirming care. He was pushing that moral panic. I remember him for that. I remember a lot of people widely condemning it as hateful and harmful, and even going to his college tours and telling him to his face that it was hateful. And that was a conversation that he was having. I remember he invoked what we used to call the clobber passages. 20 years ago, like the terms we used to treat people in the LGBT community were more ubiquitous as the clobber passages. These were the certain phrases in the Bible that were used to beat up on gay people, right? And so it was Leviticus 20:13 was the one that he used, and he called it God's perfect law. And that was last year when he did that. He said it was God's perfect law regarding sexual matters, and he was targeting gay individuals with that, using his religion to say it justified exclusion of them, and it's what I remember him for. I remember earlier than that, like halfway through Biden's term, like 2023, when Charlie Kirk was talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he was dismissing him and the entire Civil Rights Act. And he said MLK was an awful, not a good person, called the Civil Rights Act a huge mistake. He was saying that it was entrenching DEI bureaucracy, and it was superseding the Constitution's authority in a bad way. And this is what I remember Charlie Kirk for. I remember last year when he promoted the Great Replacement theory as a fact, that white people were being replaced in America. That was him. I remember when he was talking about Zoran Mamdani, and he basically was relating Zoran Mamdani's win to like a second 9/11 in New York, and said that it could destabilize our civilization because somebody who was a Muslim was elected as a candidate, in the primary. And I was like, wow. And this is recently. You can find that stuff. And I felt like in that moment Charlie Kirk was a bit bigoted towards Muslims. Zoran Mamdani in particular. And I'll remember him for that. I think I might actually donate to Mamdani's campaign after I film this video. Something that's like rare, I suppose, in people's memories that, like, to me, just kind of stuck, was that Charlie Kirk was part of this discussion where he advocated for the mass incarceration of people in certain neighborhoods to make them more livable, and also to lower housing costs, which I felt, that whole carceral nature of certain Republicans, where they're very punitive on all sorts of things, where they just want the maximum punishment for everything. Like, that's what I remembered him for. That's like, this happened in over my summer semester, because I was talking about it with other PhD students. That particular aspect of it, because it's just using creating a prison country out of America in order to strip people of their rights and put them in a place where, like, slave wage labor is real and legal, because it's an exclusion from, like, slavery is that you could actually require prisoners to work for, like, it's a thing. And he was very much an advocate for arresting and ramping up incarceration efforts, and that was in August that he said that. So yeah, I'll remember that as like one of the last things that he was saying that came across my plate. He was always talking about cultural Marxism as kind of it was like a conspiracy theory where he was being really anti-Semitic about it, and he would talk about islands of totalitarianism. Yeah, I remember him talking about the yellow vest protesters in other countries, and spreading like weird conspiracy theories about them. Yeah, as much as I hate whenever I have to see a tweet from the president, I think Charlie Kirk's messages are like, if President Trump could actually say what he was thinking. Like, even Trump has to use a little bit of a filter, and I think that Charlie Kirk would like follow along and fill in the blanks for those people who couldn't read the dog whistles. Just like Trump, I feel like Charlie Kirk was misleading people on COVID-19 health issues, which was a big part of what I used to talk about on this channel. He called Obama's H1N1 response a democratic plot against Christianity, and said masks don't work, and labeled vaccine mandates for students as medical apartheid. This is what I remember Charlie Kirk for. He was a very divisive and loud voice on the Republican side, especially like the MAGA movement stuff. And I also remember that when Trump was trying to say that the January 6th protesters who turned violent and insurrectional, when Trump was saying that they were already going to go there and he was just going to, speak in front of them, he decided to speak to them, but he had nothing to do with setting it up. It was actually Charlie Kirk did have something to do with setting all that up, because he sent buses of people to January 6th related events through the Turning Point USA organization, which, you know, when you have these organizations that are operating at the behest of the political movements and politicians that they're connected to, it's like we have this really horrible money in politics and support in politics problem, where people have this plausible deniability, but really you can see where it's connected. And yeah, I saw the whole January 6th event as undermining democratic norms for sure, and treasonous in the way that they tried to stop the democratic process from happening, and yeah, and also chanting that they wanted to hang the vice president. Charlie Kirk's the one who bussed them in. Buses paid for by TPUSA. So I will remember him for that. Okay. So to recap, my give a damn's busted. I did initially, when I saw him get shot, feel bad for him in that moment, but don't be trying to humanize him outside of what he was actually known for to me. Like, I don't want to see pictures of his family, because he would never care about my family. In fact, he actively attacked a lot of the people that I serve in my community. So, no, I don't want to see the humaner side of him. I don't want to hear stories from people on the left who met him behind the scenes and said that he was a different person. I don't want to hear that shit. I know who he was publicly and who he projected to the world. And, yeah, I will remember him for all of those things.